Welcome back to the hangar with Xcraft. And in this episode, we're going to work on getting the masks on the canopy framework. We're doing the open canopy, remember? So we have all these pieces and these two here, plus the windshield that we modified in the last episode. We'll get all those masks on there, get these installed on the fuselage, and then if we got some time, maybe we'll work on some bombs. Now I'm going to show you just how to do one of these pieces of windshield. There's no point in you watching me peel stickers for 20 minutes. So I'll do one and then we'll go to time lapse. And these masks that come with this kit, while they might be functional, these things suck. You cannot see at all the outlines. They're numbered, which is great, and they're all called out in the book, which is great. Tells you exactly which one goes where. However, you can't see the edges, and usually I would use some charcoal dust, like on the yellow masks that I get with other kits, and then the lines pop right out. I tried that on this, and it does not work. The surface is so rough that the charcoal dust just sticks to everything. So, boy, I tell you what, Trumpeter could really do a better job on these masks. Just use a different material. The masks, it's great they include them. Just make them out of the better material, out of the yellow mask, and it'd be way better off. So anyways, we're going to get at that right now. So let's get started. Okay, we have our windshield frame. We're going to do this piece first. And we need masks 1, 2, 3, and 4 for this. Pretty simple. All called out right here in the manual for the open canopy. If you're doing the closed canopy, I would think they would all be the same masks. It looks like they are. They just printed it. They just printed it twice. And it actually looks like they included masks to do both canopies. There's 2 number 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s. There's duplicates of everything here. So I'm a little lost for that. I guess you got extras, which is awesome. I love it when you get some extras in a kit, because if you botch one up, you got something to fall back on. But that I wouldn't call that common. All right, we need number 1, and we're gonna have to fish around here to try to find the edge of it. There we go. Okay. So number 1, there's a slightly curved edge here. So that one has to go towards the bottom. We'll just take our X-Acto and just set that in place and press her down. Simple as that. Okay, and then we need number 2. Again, we'll fish around to find the edge. Here we go. Actually, that isn't too bad. So now remember, this mask believed that there was that bar there. So we're gonna have to add a little bit of our own tape to cover where that bar was at. So not a big deal. We're going to throw 2 there. And then number 3 goes in the middle. Where's the edge? See, the bad thing about this, you start picking away at it and you end up damaging it. There we go. There's the edge. And you end up damaging it because I can't see the edge where it's supposed to start at. Okay, so this one we're just gonna kind of guess on this one, because we're supposed to have that framework in there, and that looks about right there. See, so now this is from me picking at it to try to find the edge. Which, I mean, you could throw another little piece of tape on there. That's okay. In this case, it's not going to matter at all, because it's going to get covered over anyway. So we need number 4. Ooh, got lucky. No, that's not it. There it is there. Number 4. That one lays up against this frame. Just like that. And then, that's interesting, they jump from 4 to 6, and then 5 is back up here. Everything else is numerical. China kit. Okay. And our final one. Like that. So now you can plainly see where those other 2 pieces of framework were at on this windshield and why we removed them. Imagine how much that would restrict your view as a pilot. You got all those bars in front of your face. It's like you're in a jailhouse. Pardon me. Okay, so now we're just going to use a couple little pieces of our generic masking tape that came from Amazon. We'll cut a little angle at the bottom to try to match that curvature. Just like that. Alright, let's do something different here. Let's do this. We'll trim it afterwards because the way it's laying is not going to cover the whole thing. Okay, so now I got these little scrap pieces here. We're just going to take our X-Acto and cut right around that corner, and now we have a perfect mask for that area. And up here it looks like we're good. Okay, so we'll do the same thing on the other side. If you follow right along that framework, if your knife were making a mark on that frame, you won't even see it because it's all getting painted anyway. Just as long as you follow the framework. Now if you slip with your knife and end up going down through here, down through the middle of a mask or something, yeah, you're going to see that. And if that were to happen, you're going to have to peel these masks off if you want to fix it, and wet sand it out and polish it again. So there is our completed mask on the windshield. So you see how simple that was. There's no point in you watching me do all of these. So let me switch to time lapse for that, and we'll get this done. So we have the canopy installed now, and I was going to start working on the bombs here. In order to do that, we need to fill this area here. Now, the kit comes with this little plate. If you're using bombs, this glues in here. This took a significant amount of trimming to make it fit. Just sanding with a sanding stick all the way around. And then I had to cut down. There's these little edges from here all the way up to here, and then there's one across the back here, and there's one across the front. And I had to trim all of that down in order to make this fit. It would not fit in here at all. Now, what I find interesting is if you're doing the torpedo, it comes with this piece to put in there, which makes sense. Your torpedo is going to lay right in here. However, this is the way it installs. And there's nothing. There's no provision here to fill that hole. Unless the torpedo, the tail of the torpedo sits up in here. However, that seems like a really inefficient, poor design for aerodynamics in general. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know. I haven't found a photograph of the underside of this airplane, and none of the photographs that come with this airplane or drawings in the manual show the bottom of this, and that is supposed to be left open. All you have is this and just this piece, which leaves that hole. So we're using the bombs anyways. It doesn't matter. So, but I wanted to show you that. So I don't know the exact story behind that. I also had to go back and readdress this seam. Right in here, from this rivet line to this flap, and this rivet line to this flap, this center section of the wing would not seat down in fully in the fuselage, so it was raised a little bit. So I had to go back and sand all that down. We needed a little bit of filler through here, not much. And I had to sand all that down, and then I buffed it out so it's nearly shiny, because again, if there's any sanding marks at all, it will be seen in the all-clad aluminum paint. You can't hide anything with that paint. So now we have this cut or trimmed to fit, and this should go in here pretty nice. It's raised a little bit yet on this end, and the front. Maybe that'll set down in once I get some glue in there. Let's go ahead and glue this in since we're right here. I'm going to do this in stages because it's a little bit finicky. It wants to keep popping out. You get one spot in, and then it wants to come out in another spot. So I'm going to do the ends first, and then we'll get the sides glued in. Okay, so let's put a little glue on this end. And this side is seated really well, so let's go ahead and hit that as well. Okay, that's down in there pretty good. Let's go ahead and run a bead here. This seems like this should be really easy. This piece should just drop right in. This is just, in my opinion, this is poor quality control on Trumpeter's part. for a poor fitting piece. Now, I mean, if you're a modeler, this is not a big deal to fix. However, in the day of the modern kits that are out there now, and this being a brand new tool, this should not be. Kits nowadays, they build so nicely, and everything fits so well. And for a simple part like this to be this finicky is odd to me. It shouldn't be. Okay. Actually, we come out pretty even all the way around. That's pretty good. We might have to sand it just a little bit, although I might not mess around with it at all. This is obviously meant to be removed on the full scale to convert to this for torpedoes. So that panel is not meant to be invisible. And then the bomb racks are going to attach right here. Okay, so where's our bomb racks? Those are on the H tree. Okay, here's bomb racks. And I went ahead and cut off all the injector pin. Well, there's some flashing on there that they use. It's not really flashing, it's engineered into the kit, but it's used for ejector pins, and there was, I think, 4 of them on here. So I already went around and cut those off and filed them down, so no worries there. These appear to be symmetrical other than these holes here. And it appears as though the para holes goes aft. Okay, we're going to have to open those up just a little bit. And I'll just use my X-Acto. Yeah, I could get out a different bit, drill bit, and drill those out a little bit more, but the tip of an X-Acto knife will do the very same thing. And that drops right in there now. Okay, same thing, 2 holes towards the back, and she drops right in. So there's our bomb racks. So we can go ahead and glue these down. Okay, so there we go. So we got our canopy done and our bomb racks installed. And I think we'll wrap it for this video, and we'll get after some other miscellaneous stuff. We are very nearly ready to start the painting process on this. So yeah, next round we'll probably be assembling bombs. It looks like all we really have to do is assemble bombs. I did not install the pitot tube, which goes right here. And I have not installed the antenna, which goes right in the middle of the windshield on top of the cowl, right here. And we're not installing those until after we're all done painting. Otherwise, that stuff almost always ends up getting broken off. Okay? So we're going to hold on that until the end. What I want to show here on this canopy install is this rear set of frames. And there's actually 3 of them stacked where I'm pointing at, and the 2 rearmost ones would roll backwards to cover that gunner's compartment, and then of course forward for opening. And these nested in really, really nicely with no issues at all. It's a good fit. Now, this center section is supposed to roll back over top of those, or possibly forward. Either way, it doesn't matter. It will not do either. It won't fit, period. So I made this closed. It is what it is. And the pilot's canopy, you can see it sets at a bit of a goofy angle where my knife is at. It needs to be a little more exaggerated to be scale. However, the kit does not touch on mounting this in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to make that work. And you can see that in this photograph. Look at how that canopy is tipped. And I'm thinking they did this to give room for the pilot to get in and out. If that canopy was sitting flat down, it would be a very, very tight fit trying to get in there, especially if you're wearing a chute. So that's the only thing I can come up with. They must not have had enough room to get it to roll straight back. So that's the way it's going to be. We just got to figure it out. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until next time, keep your fingers out of the glue.